You're listening to the We Are Libertarians podcast network. Find all of our shows at wearelibertarians.com.
Hello, Luis. Number one, like I always tell people, hi. Aw, see all those people? Like I always tell people, I'm not a hyper professional. I believe in having fun and just being real. So if you'd like to see a really dry professional production, please go watch PBS. It's free,
Right,
but
yeah.
actually it's not, because it's funded through theft.
Absolutely. Yeah. No. This
Yes.
is much better.
Yeah. So we became Facebook friends, and I was interested in a lot of the stuff you do. You are an entrepreneur. You're a dad. You're a voluntarist, or would you consider yourself a voluntarist?
Absolutely.
Okay. A lot of people are like, I like the term anarchist. I like the term voluntarist. I like the term libertarian. And sometimes that makes me laugh a little bit because, I don't know, we could spend a lot of time defining terms, but I think that's a waste of time. So
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm just going to use, yeah. So we'll start with, hi, people. Oh, wait, somebody has something funny. I take it I must have been the only sober Irish dude within the world today. I don't know.
Probably.
You look pretty Irish, Luis.
Really? That's funny. I have like 0 Irish. I have, actually, I found out that I have like 0.4% Jew. So that's, there's going to be some interesting conspiracy theories on that.
Oh, really?
So, yeah.
Are we going to go
funny.
Alex Jones on this live? Because I'm ready.
I have the papers to prove it.
I'm actually a quarter Jew. So,
Wow.
like a quarter of me is going to rule the world. The other 75% is I'm pretty much screwed. Oh, by the way, I do swear. This is fine. This will get broadcasted on a few different platforms and stuff. But I hope that doesn't offend. If you have kids around, I hate you there. It's okay.
It's okay. It's fine.
Are you okay?
All good.
Are you okay with that, Luis? Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. Some of the things that you do. Hi. PBS is bought. Okay. Oh, hi, Burdette. So I'll take some live questions for sure. If you followed that thread today, there were people that were asking questions about voluntarism and praxology. I don't know if I necessarily want to go there with you because I think most of our audience will be people that already kind of know the ins and outs of those questions. But I think you have a unique perspective. Yeah.
Cool, thank you.
So So I'm going to give your bio now because I think we have some engagement. Oh, we do.
Okay.
So this is now. I'm just going right here, right now. Obviously, Mises is not your actual last name, or are you that lucky?
No, it's not.
That's your pseudonym?
Yeah, it's a way to put a Trump wall, if you will, between activism and client work. So none of that gets, like on this stuff, we get death threats, we get all sorts of hate. And I'm always like, so it's another protection.
Perfect. Sorry. So let me ask you then, like in your inbox, because I get a lot of really nasty stuff. Because of your activism, do you get a lot of that?
Oh, yeah, so much of it. As of probably within the last 6 or 8 months, not as much, especially because the Facebook page, Emancipated Human, I just let it go. I was like, I'm going to take a break for a little bit. Well, it's just momentary, like just a little, temporary. I've been doing it for, 7 years or so. And after, like, it got hijacked, it got stolen from me about, maybe a year ago or so. Yeah. Somebody actually was messaging me, telling me, if you try to do anything, we're going to release your intimate photos and all of this and that. Because, so I was like, yeah, okay, I'll just, there's probably worse things outside, like in the internet, so I probably wouldn't be too worried if they came out. But I didn't want to necessarily fight about it, but so it got taken away and I had to start it over.
I had no idea. And it's so funny. I think about people like us, and I don't mean to collectivize you, but people that are voluntarists that maybe think freely. It's so funny how people are threatened by us because we're such a small percentage of the population, and we preach nonviolence and non-aggression. And I just find it very ironic that people would want to threaten us, of all people.
Well, it does make sense to me, especially like, I get hate from left side of the spectrum, but I get like the actual violent threats from the right side of the spectrum. And it's primarily because they we are challenging their belief system. So, people that put like their entire life's purpose and mission has been around this idea of nationalism. We're basically breaking that to pieces, and then they get angry, they get upset, and then they feel like they need to, there was a Thomas Sowell quote, and I'm paraphrasing, but it was like, it's not the problem that little Timmy can't think or something, but he confuses his feeling with thinking or something along those lines. So that's what a lot of these people are doing. They're very visceral, and they're like, because they're angry because of that. So I mean, it's normal. You just, have to deal with it and whatever.
It's funny, Luis, and I'm straying off not topic, but I'm straying off my script a little bit because I find that I came from the far right, and I find some of the most visceral hate and threats from right-wingers because, number one, I actually don't believe that there's a difference between the left and right. There's just freedom, and then there's chains. It's just what flavor of change you like. But I think it's very interesting. I might, back in my neocon days, consider you a leftist just because of optics, which is really cool because when I started to lean towards liberty and then eventually became an anarchist, my mind was opened that there's not a left or right. And just because I don't have the same actual moral system of belief of somebody doesn't mean that I can't actually agree and that I can't have the same appreciation of non-aggression. Like as me, I'm a Christian. This is my personal belief, but you're a shaman. You have some spiritual beliefs, very different in some ways. But the fact that we believe in non-aggression means that we have a lot in common, probably much more so than most people in this world, which is quite ironic in many ways. So I did want to talk to you about that. So I'm not super familiar. I did study religious philosophy, and I know that being a shaman isn't necessarily religion. I kind of think it is, but that's okay. We could go into that later. So I want to definitely discuss that tonight, but I want to start with your story. So little Luis was born into the world. What kind of upbringing? It's funny. All right. What kind of upbringing did you have? Like your family life? Like how did that shape your philosophy? So Luis was born in when? Go ahead.
All right. So city, that's where I'm from, and it's upper middle class. I went to private schools and all that. My dad was an engineer. My mom stayed at home for the most part. She had a couple of little ventures here and there, but not. I guess it was nice growing up. We would go like at some point, and this is something that kind of started shaping my political philosophy when I was little, because we had a little more than a lot of my neighbors. And I felt a little bit of probably shame that, like we had more than they did. And in my early or development, like late teens, maybe 17, 18, I was gravitating towards the idea of socialism because I wanted it seemed like very like the right thing to do to have that level of like the least paid person cannot make less than 5 times what the highest person makes, and the entire Marxist ideology, all that. So anyway, so I like that, and especially because the Latin American community tends to be a little bit more tribal, I guess, a little bit more leftist in that idea that because the government is extremely socialist and they're super powerful, we have to stick together. So it's super tribal. Like a lot of times if you have something for somebody, like if you have something for yourself, if you cannot share it, you don't even show it, because then you're seen necessarily like, like you're an individualist. That's like a bad thing, actually. So, all that mental programming and whatever. But so at the same time, like my dad was pretty libertarian. Like, when I was, 10 years old or so, he's the one that actually explained inflation to me and how
cool.
And so that was pretty cool. And, and being that he, engineer, owned his own business. At some point he was, the Secretary of Public Transportation of Mexico City. And all of that also helped me understand like the entire facade of government, because at some point, like somebody showed up and they opened like a couple of briefcases full of money. And they said, this is yours if you let us continue to do what we're doing. And what they were doing is, like somebody would come in and refurbish the transmissions for the buses and public transportation. But what these guys would do is like they would just wash them and paint them, not necessarily fix them. So they would charge as if they were doing the job, but they were not doing it. And my dad would get a cut if he would let it happen, because he was new, So he didn't like that. He actually quit. And he was like, I can generate that much money without having to do all these things. So, those like specific moments in life, like, even if you're given like the keys of, everything, like dude was like standing in his principles. And that was something that I always appreciated, same, so I have like the left brain, business mind, ethical with my dad, and the right brain, more emotional, like service oriented towards people from my mom. And it's not that they're just separated, but they work together really nicely. So, does that kind of answer?
Yeah, I think that's actually a really good point. I think the state and culture now, driven by a very corrupt media and some kind of weird social media stuff, it makes people think that the left and the right are completely different and diametrically opposed to each other, when sometimes number one, I don't believe they technically are different, but you can take being a charitable person and caring for other people, but you can also be really rational in the way that you carry that out, and those are not opposed to each other. What the media, what the state does is they try to separate them. And so it's hard for people to reconcile that, because obviously we grow up thinking that these two things are different. And it was funny, Luis, on the post where I said I was going to interview you and that you were an entrepreneur, there was a gentleman that was advocating for socialism. I believe he was from Great Britain. But he couldn't understand the idea that in a voluntary society that you could still be a generous person and like help other people out. And that really doesn't have anything to do with the state. If the state didn't exist, well, it doesn't really matter if I want to help somebody. I actually would much more able to help them. Anyways, we're going down into that whole rabbit trail of voluntarism, and I wanted to talk to you about stuff that's specific to you. So I'm going to give your bio here, which, by the way, I did Google this, but there was a word in your bio that I didn't even know what it meant. What is a curandero? What's a curandero, or is it surrendero? What is that?
Curandero, yeah. It's just...
Yeah, what is it?
Okay, well, it literally means healer. It's
That's
fancy.
Kind of.
I get shy talking about it because
don't get shy. I'm not judging.
It's a balance between like I can do this, but I don't want to be boastful about it. But if I don't say it or mention it, people won't know that I'm doing it and they won't be able to benefit. Like if somebody asks for help, right? Like they know because I said it. So again, like you grow up telling, people tell you don't toot your own horn kind of thing. And the idea behind it is like, I want to be able to help people. Like this is like, I have skill work. And at the same time, like if you're just like, oh yeah, I am this, like, I mean, if you have to say that you are like an amazing healer and all these things, and like, sometimes I'm weary about those kinds of people. So
I'm very interested in all of this, Luis. So let's get down into the nitty gritty then. And we'll talk voluntarism and entrepreneurship too. But to me, this is the most interesting part of you, which is really cool. I'm sure I say and like a lot. It's fine, whatever. I'm never going to be professional. Here I went again. But I know so many anarchists that come from so many different schools of thought, and then we all have this sort of common thread of non-aggression, and like it helps us trust each other more and want to be friends with people that have the same mindset. However, I've got Christian anarchist friends, I have atheist anarchist friends. I don't, except for you now, Luis, have any anarchist friends that are like shamans or believe in that stuff. So what is your belief system as far as that, your spirituality, I guess?
Okay. Well, I can tell you, like, when I went to Acapulco, I actually talked a lot about it. And my belief is that it's, I even believe in the decentralization of religion. So in my hypothesis is that...
Oh, we're getting heavy.
Decentralization of religion leads to shamanism because you are not necessarily contingent upon like a middleman between you and the divine. So you now have a direct connection to the divine, and it's like going from dial-up to DSL to fiber optic. Now you're just like connected. You can like actually, like, you're not delegating, you're not voting for, salvation, maybe, perhaps. Like, so that's kind of like the idea is like you are connected with the divine, and that doesn't mean that you're going to be perfect or that you're not going to make mistakes or stupid stuff. It's more like, you're open to see things through your own senses instead of having to get those perspectives, ideas, information from something or somebody else.
So it's a direct connection with spirituality? Is that?
Yeah. So you're basically, instead of like just like maybe reading a book about it or getting somebody's perspective on it, or like getting a priest to tell you what to think or what to pray about on Sundays or Wednesday nights, here it's like you are so connected to your unconscious mind, to the id, to the universal consciousness, that you're able to connect and see and feel, and like it's pretty interesting. And it goes, without saying, like it's not that I'm saying, this is the right path or the only way to do it. Like, I think that it's an individual path, and every path is not for everybody. So that's just kind of what I'm into. And I mean, it gets like exorcisms. I've healed people. Like I've, brought like little animals back to life. I mean, all sorts of things. Like, I mean, it's connecting directly with Christ consciousness, doing, I mean, you name it, like all that stuff's been done. Poltergeist healing, cure, out of body experiences, all of it.
Let me stop you there. I want to say two things. Number one, I have Christians that follow me. And just because I entertain Luis's ideas and I respect his beliefs doesn't mean I believe the same thing. I actually really appreciate it. And I think that if you're a spiritual person, you should definitely not stay in your own zone and look outside of it. So I'm just going to premise that, because there's going to be people that will be like, oh, you're a heretic, you're going to burn in hell. But I get plenty of those anyways. But I think that's actually an interesting perspective, because it goes to like human nature. And when you're talking about, and I can relate, I also think I believe in a creator, and I think that any truth is divine, whether it comes from a Buddhist or whatever. I believe ultimately in a creator, God. But, if somebody says truth, well, then it's truth. So I think it's interesting you talk about the direct connection to a creator, because I believe in that too. And I believe that we're created in divine image, the image of God, so that we do have a direct connection. And I think we had talked about, you're not necessarily a believer in the Christian faith, but you're a follower of Christ, because he kind of that's what he was, the segue to that. And I think that's really relatable, even if somebody doesn't believe in Christian or spirituality or spirituality in general. The fact that we are divine in some sense, not that we're God, because to me that's blasphemy to say that, but the fact that we can be autonomous, that we can make decisions and we can own ourselves, and that we are intellectual beings that have power over the world around us through our actions, through the way we treat other people. A lot of that lends itself towards self-ownership, I believe. So I think it's really interesting what you're talking about that.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that there's a lot of truncated truths that are being given in the religious aspects, enough to where people feel in their soul that those things are legit, but at the same time there's a control aspect. So they're basically disconnecting people at the top of their own psychological pyramid, and then at the very cap it's somebody telling you, like, dosifying the information to you instead of you being able to experience it directly. So that's where I what I've seen, what I've experienced. And yeah, I mean, you mentioned it, like I am a Christ consciousness follower, and I've had people that tell me, no, that's bullshit, that you're wrong, you're a heretic, you're worshiping the devil, whereas like that has nothing to do with it. But so that's it. And I I only get, I guess, like a little bit hesitant to talk about it in like super public, because I only talk about those things with people that are kind of in the similar vibe, so they don't freak out, or they don't I guess take it wrong, I suppose, and it could be misunderstood, or some issues could come up. But ultimately,
that's understandable. Yeah. Well, number one, I don't take that. I'm like a Christian that goes to church and takes communion. I don't think you're creepy at all. But what's ironic and funny is, so all of us have these different beliefs, and we may be voluntarists, but in the same vein, the rest of the world looks at us like we're the creepiest people in the world, which is so funny. So you kind of get thrown into this redheaded stepchild, which redheads are the awesomest. But I can have the same faith as somebody. I can believe in Christ as sacrifice and absolution for my sin and reconciliation to God. But heaven forbid that I believe that the government is inherently evil and that I own myself, that I'm called a heretic. And it's kind of funny how that happens. And I don't want to spend the whole time like on your spirituality. I just found it very interesting because you're one of the few anarchists I know that practice that. And I always think that knowledge is power. But you're also an entrepreneur. I like that word. Always sounds so fancy. Yes. So, yeah, we're really fancy here. Oh, also, I want to break because I broke from the notes because we're chit-chatting and having a good time. I want to give a shout out to Disenthrall guys, and I'll have Patrick link that at the end. They're producing this. Number one, if you want quality content and you're a voluntarist or just interested in like maybe free thought, you should follow them. They are so far ahead of like their base. These guys produce like really high quality, super awesome stuff. They're phenomenal. And you can get their content for free at Disenthrall if you just go on Facebook. So please do that. Anyways, let's talk about entrepreneurship.
Let's do that.
So, yes. So, Emancipated Human, I know you talked about somebody hijacked it, which I didn't know that. So, what is it that you do when you go and speak? Tell me a little bit about what you do.
Okay, so, the bread and butter, I suppose, is I'm a leadership development consultant. And in a nutshell, what I do is we teach corporations about voluntarism. And I was telling somebody, I help people to people, because, when you are working and then you are really good at your trade and you get promoted, basically you're a supervisor now because you're fairly good at your trade, but you're not necessarily good at peopling. So I teach them, skills to be able to do their job, because their job is no longer the actual trade. Now they're supervisors, or maybe they're managers, or maybe they're directors, or maybe they're C-level. So every step, you have to learn new skills. You have to do other things. And a lot of times people get stuck on the one below. So I me and my team, we help them with those skills and practices. And, we even go to teach creativity. We teach them meditation, visualization, all of these things that really highly successful people, high performing teams do. We also, sometimes whenever there's really, really big things being built, like huge hospitals or stadiums or whatever, and they need a couple of different contractors, maybe because for one, it's not enough. And then they have the electricians and the, builders and whatever, all sorts of people. So we do alignments, because a lot of times they're like, this is my company and this is, my rules and whatever. And everybody's got their own silos. So what we do is we go in, we help them with divisions, missions, and help them focus and just goal minded, basically. And it takes 5-6 sessions, sometimes more if the process is pretty lengthy. So that's basically what we do. The pyramid of power usually is like this, and there's somebody on top telling everybody what to do, and shit rolls downhill, basically, kind of thing. So what we do is we turn the pyramid of power upside down, and the actual role of the supervisor, the manager, whatever, is not necessarily to tell people what to do, because if you're hiring somebody, most likely they have an idea of what to do. So what happens is, as a supervisor now, your role is to remove obstacles, blockages for people to do their work, to engage them, to motivate them, to create strategic planning and all of these things that will keep people focused on your vision, so they can, feel more ownership, they feel happier, they feel more productive, and everybody wins. So ultimately, people get wealthier, people get happier, and they enjoy their jobs more, because there's a lot of people that are like, oh hell, I hate Mondays, or oh yeah, I love Fridays. I mean, so basically they just love 2.5 days out of the entire week. That's miserable. So we help them basically find their purpose, find what lights them up, what turns them on, and just the rest. You wake up happy on Monday, because you want to do your work.
Yeah.
So it's very different than your normal stuff, and that's one of the things that people really dislike about capitalism, I guess, that I have to go to work. Even if you what's the opposite of that? You have to go pick up apples from a tree if there were no jobs, and I don't want to have to make my own house or my own suits. Screw that. I don't like getting dirty necessarily. I don't want to grow my own food. I like to go to Whole Foods. So division of labor is what creates wealth. So if you're really good at something,
that's a cool intersection, Luis. I think that's what, and I think that might be what's missing from people's idea of capitalism, praxology, free markets, is they're just thinking you're being forced to do something because you're hungry, whereas you're kind of taking it as, what can you do that you enjoy, and divide labor amongst other people that they do what they enjoy, which really is laissez-faire economics and praxology. It really is. You're
a lot of people
kind of like at a human level
to do what they like. They're like, oh, they get brainwashed by the parents. I hate work. Now you have to go to work. You have to get ready for that. And I did not see that growing up. I saw my dad being successful and happy, and my mom being successful and happy. And so, I started businesses since I was a little kid. I started selling candy or loose cigarettes or whatever I could do.
That's awesome.
my Super Nintendo games and my VHS movies back in like the late 80s, early 90s to my school friends. And like, I just wanted to provide a service and get some money so I could do stuff, So like from very early age, I've been just trying to like exercise my entrepreneurial, gene, DNA or whatever.
Mm-hmm. I think that's awesome. We're going to, you know what we're going to do now, Luis? Because I have other questions, and I did have people ask me some for you. You have a little fan club, by the way. So we're going to talk about Kratom and a little bit more about entrepreneurship. But now we're going to play a game. Are you ready?
All right, let's play games.
Yes, don't be nervous. I'm a nice person, I promise. Okay. I played this with Eric July, and it was super fun. So I'm not going to play a word game with you. What I'm going to play, it's kind of like Cards Against Humanity. It's called Pick Your Poison. Okay. This will tell us a little bit about who Luis is as a person. So I give you, basically, I'm going to pull a random card and give you situations, and you have to pick one.
Okay.
Are you ready?
Ready, Freddy.
Right. I'll throw out anything that's completely... Okay. Would you rather... We're going to go be very silly now. Are you ready to be silly? Okay.
Totally.
All right. I already know what I'd pick on this one. Would you rather have snakes for arms or believe absolutely everything you've ever been told?
Snakes for arms.
Me too. Okay, that's a good one. All right. All right. Would you rather... I don't even know what that word means, so we're going to skip to the next one. All right. I told you this is not fancy, Luis. Okay. Would you rather lose your short-term memory or lose 5 seconds of your life every time you blink? Oh, that's hard.
Oh, whoa.
That's hard. That's like next level.
Dang.
You.
5 seconds every time I blink.
Oh, how sad for you. Wrong answer. I'm just messing. Okay. All right. Let's do another one. This is fun.
All right.
All right. All right, Luis. Oh, look, there's a lot of people watching. Holy crap. Aren't you a fancy pants?
It's not at all. No, it's you.
Okay, sure. Most of the days, I can't even, I pretty much have to Google most of the words that I write. I'm just saying. All right. Would you rather be below average at everything or never talk to any of your friends again?
Below average.
Aw. That's actually a really sweet answer, and I think that's a good one. All right. Pick your poison, Luis. So your actual last name is not Mises. But I'm going to come up with a more fun last name for you. We should call you Luis Rothbard, because that sounds super. All right. All right. Would you rather, this one, would you rather have an incurable case of pink eye or have your hands become visibly wet every time you shake someone's hand?
The hand one. That was hilarious. Yes, sweaty hands.
Okay, sweaty hands. All right.
How about you?
One of these, then we'll go back to some serious stuff.
Okay.
Okay. Would you rather...
What?
Sorry, I'm laughing.
Would
you rather become Amish or have a 25-pound ball attached to your ankle?
I never liked zippers anyway.
Amish, I could go
Yeah,
on about
totally.
the Amish. I have a whole thing about them, but anyways, thank you for playing that game with me.
Oh,
Hey, Patrick,
absolutely.
where was the music? Where's the music, Patrick? Oh, he said he wanted to know more about both of us. Hi, Jim E. Rustler. Thank you for the comment. Follow Luis.
Jim E. Rustler. It's so funny.
Yeah, I know. That's a clever one. I've never been. I actual name as my profile. Right.
Me neither.
I wanted to talk to you. I don't know if you want. I know we talked a lot about my kratom, but I did have a lot of people ask that. A lot of people don't even know what it is. In my life, I've talked to people about kratom, just as far as a remedy for certain illnesses and things like that. So you actually are a what would you call yourself? You sell
Trusted
kratom.
distributor.
Trusted distributor, a distributor. That's the word I was looking for. See, that's another thing. Like Luis, I can't even say the word distributor right now because I'm still laughing at your sweaty hands. Anyways, so I had some questions about that. So a lot of people confuse it with cannabis, which I think is kind of funny. So what exactly is kratom?
Okay, so it's a shrubbery, and it's a cousin to the coffee plant. And it's been used for, I don't know, 200-300 years in the Ring of Fire, Southeast Asia, for various ailments. So it's widely known over there. And within the last, I don't know, 30 to 40 years, it came to the United States to, actually, one of my friends that makes one of the extracts is one of the pioneers that brought kratom to the States. So what it is like, it's a plant. And that's what it is, right? So it's a vasoconstrictor. So it's like coffee. It gives you energy, but it also releases some feel-good things. Now, it's not an opioid. It
See, a lot of people say that.
Yeah, it's not. It connects to the to your receivers, and it makes you feel good, but it's not one, right? So, like for instance, I cannot legally claim, health benefits because I kind of enjoy not being in jail. But I can tell you that some people say that they find a lot more energy. A lot of people find, like if they have the blues, stuff like that, it helps them. Pain management. Some people claim that it's way better than cannabis. Actually, a lot of people claim that. I actually have helped dozens of people get off of opiates. I have helped people get off of heroin addiction. People that had totally lost their jobs. They were about to go through financial ruin. They were like skinny as my finger. Kratom has helped them tremendously to regain their lives. And people that get hooked on oxycodone, hydrocodone, they get a lot of benefit from it too, they claim. So it's something that it's a fantastic plant. Like, okay, so and the reason I discovered it is because I got a brown recluse bite almost 4 years ago. And it really, I didn't get any necrosis. I didn't lose any of my limbs, and I didn't die. That's usually what happens. Hello, cat. And
I have a kitty cat that was here earlier.
So even though I didn't get any physical issues, I lost basically a lot of my strength on the left side of my body, to the point where driving with my left, I could not do it. I was too tired to do it. I had zero strength. So I found kratom and I started taking it, and it saved my life. I had a lot of energy, and usually I'm somebody that would sleep 4.5, 5 hours a night and work 19 hours a day. And, I have 2 kids and a wife and a mom and all of that. And I'm an activist. So always on the go. So I was I cannot afford not to do this, because it's, it's the lifestyle and money generation and all of this. So that's how I discovered it. And then whenever the government tried to make it illegal, the FDA tried to put it as a Schedule 1, I was all my friends are anarchists, or at least most of them. So if they see that the government wants to get rid of something, they're going to want it, whether they know what the hell it is or not. And literally, like I had people like, I mean, I the first time I ordered 6 kilos to sell, and like the same day they got sold out. There was people who was like, I don't know what the hell that is, but if the government wants it banned, I want 2 of them. So, I had to like,
that's awesome.
continuously. And then I was like, hell, this may be a business. So, I saw how wonderful it was for me. So I was like, I want to bring that to other people, especially because like I had done the legwork, shopping, several vendors, testing. Like my kratom has been tested by the University of Chile, and to no bacteria, no fungus among us, no other additives. Because some people add green tea to the kratom because it's a little bit cheaper to do that. Mine is clean, so I was already getting the best stuff that I could have found, and so I was just passing that on to people. And it's to this point, like I have some extracts that I'm selling as well, and I always keep this one in my pocket just in case somebody's in like a lot of pain or whatever. Like this stuff helps people with rheumatoid arthritis or MS or you name it. This stuff is like amazing. Migraines, all sorts of things. So that's basically what it is. And it's definitely not tasty, but you get used to the taste. At least
it's
personally.
Not tasty. I have partaken and it's not tasty, but I think a 3-second, if it helps you with some ailments and some issues, 3 seconds of poor taste is not it's not that bad. But it's really interesting. You talk about like anarchists and like if the government outlaws it. Like my good friend takes CBD oil, which is a completely different plant, but like the government finds anything that's actually a decent natural remedy and just tries to make it illegal for big pharma. We could go down that path. But I think our very kind producer will be dropping your website in the show notes, Patrick, which I think there's a link, which I checked out. Patrick, what are you doing? You could say something if you want to. You don't have to, though. But Emancipated Human has a link to your kratom business. I saw that.
Yes, absolutely. And, if, I take crypto as well. If people don't want to use like debit or credit cards, Venmo, Cash App.
That's awesome.
If I know the person, like I could do Apple Pay or, people that I trust that I can give my number to. Sometimes some people mail me checks too. So whatever, I take silver, gold, whatever you want to give me, I'll take it.
That's like next level woke, Luis.
I mean,
but seriously,
with the challenge of sounding petty, like a lot of times, when money is tight, you don't think about taking other things beyond cash or card because you need the money at that moment. So because I'm not in that position, I'm able to take other forms of payment with other people, whatever helps them. And sometimes like when people are like really struggling, I do like bro price, or sometimes like if there's somebody like, I'm fucked, I'm on heroin, I can't pay you, I send them stuff for free too. And if anybody that's watching this that's like really struggling with something.
Why would you do that? Why would you do that? You need the government to tell you to help other people. Oh my gosh, you helped people without the government helping you? It's insane.
Yeah, you don't know, but there's a gun right behind my head that if I don't say that, they're going to shoot me.
Yeah. Well, if the government didn't exist, you wouldn't help those people, right? I mean, that's
obvious. Totally. Like back to my parents' situation, like I grew up seeing how they helped so many people. Like they would buy like a new living room set every 3 years, and they will just give it away to somebody that needed it, or a new television, just give it away. Like it's kind of weird for my mom. Like sometimes she says, why are people selling all their stuff? Why are they not just giving it away? I'm like, Mom, you kind of live in a bubble. Like not everybody has the kind of, financial situation as we do. But I mean, like just because you can't help, you should help, why not?
But actually, I think more people than other people think like are inclined to help people, even if they don't make any financial gain. I mean, obviously I'm a capitalist and I believe that free market are absolutely the best way for people to live. But it's really funny. Like I said on that thread where I said, hey, I'm going to interview Luis. He's an entrepreneur. He does this and that. And this guy started talking about socialism. And I'm like, I don't understand how you think that me doing things throughout, without violent coercion has anything to do with why I wouldn't help someone. In fact, if the government doesn't exist, it's much easier to help people. So it's a funny mindset. But I think more people are inclined to help people, and even if it doesn't necessarily benefit themselves very much. I truly believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think here, this country is actually extremely generous, very, very, very generous. And I see it all the time. And it's like so wonderful to see that and to witness it. So I see that, one of the main things about capitalism and people that like are intentional about making money is the law of reciprocity. And what that means is whatever you want, you have to give it away. If you want more business or more attention or more money or more love or more whatever, you first have to give it away. And that's kind of like planting a seed. Like, okay, I could sell the seed. I love that. But if I plant the seed, it would give more. And then, we sometimes end up with like 150 cantaloupes that we can't eat, and we give them away, and that's like what, like people that are really, really, really intentional about money generation. That's one of their belief systems.
Yes, capitalism is actually like the most charitable economic system. And I wouldn't even call it an economic system. Actually, I like to study praxeology a little bit because the path of least resistance and most production is actually, to me, the most moral path. So I think there's, we're not taught that growing up, and there's this huge, like, people are scared of not having a state, so they want government control of economic systems. And anyway, we could go down a rabbit trail there. But I think most people that are watching us, oh, look, somebody's asking a question, Luis. I do have ADHD, so forgive me. I'll be like, oh, look, a chicken. All right. Oh, look. Oh, there's your website. Hey, people, if you're interested in Kratom, Luis's website is up there. And then can they message you through that? Send you a message?
Yeah.
If they're interested in some facts about it. Awesome.
Totally.
Tyler,
here, Facebook, message me. I'm always happy to receive messages here.
Hey, here's my funny friend, Tyler420, who's a libertarian. Oh, I didn't go back. Patrick, stop scrolling on my page. Okay. Anarchy isn't pragmatic. I don't even know what that means. Let's just skip past that. All right, let's see if I can't find a question, Luis. Alejandro. Reminds me of that. Okay, guys. Yeah, here's the links to Luis's site. And here's another question from Tyler420. Are you ready? He's such an ass.
Yes.
He's a funny ass, though. I can't. I'm stupid. I'm not going to ask that question. Never mind. All right. So, Luis, I think people definitely go to the links in the comment section to learn more about what Luis is doing. If you're interested in Kratom, Emancipated Human, which I think is awesome. But I wanted to ask you, as like a forward thinker and a successful guy and an entrepreneur, I know you say you live in the moment. I read when I was reading through your bio and some of your stuff, you said that you were teaching about hacking the world. I thought that was an interesting expression. So if you would expound on that.
It kind of like froze for a second and I didn't hear what you said. It just sounded robotic. Would you mind repeating that?
That's because I have this new headset, so I look cuter with it than those things. But you said something about hacking the world. What does that mean?
Well, a lot of times we are given stories. So basically the manifestation of the physical reality is nothing but a repetition of ideas that you have in your mind. So a lot of times we are given this idea that life is like super hard, or that money is dirty, or that you have to do like all these things that are, I mean, a lot of times it's nothing but just like a mouse trap. It's just bullshit run around. So I help people like, get to where they want to be by basically primarily following their purpose. Once you're in that place, actually, I have this book right here that I was letting somebody borrow. Arigato. The Way of the Superior Man. This one is like fantastic for anybody that wants to read it. So what he says in one part, he says, the most important thing is your mission, more so than even your romantic partner, more so than your kids or anything. Like if you're willing to let go of your purpose for something or somebody, then you're going to be unhappy because you're not fulfilling your purpose. But it's interesting at the same time, if you are following your purpose, you are being your true self. And then those people that really need to be around you will be around you. So indirectly, by going to your purpose, you're going to attract people and circumstances to your life that will make it better ultimately. So that's it, like hacking it. You don't have to do everything that you were sold growing up. So a lot of times, like, those are ideas from our parents. They may have had limited beliefs, even if they were pretty resourceful, so you go through your inner monologue and see what's useful and keep it, what's not useful, get rid of it, and maybe adapt and adopt new ideas and whatever.
That's interesting. I was talking to somebody today about it. I think I made a post about it, but it's kind of like filtering through what the world tells you. And then if you do what is right and true for yourself, you automatically attract people to want to learn about you. You don't need to coerce people. You don't need to make them understand through force or like just, even nasty words sometimes. If you do what is right and follow your path, people automatically look towards that. I think that's a really, that's one of those lines where I think like just spirituality in general meets truth. If you're a decent person and you follow your goals, people will automatically pay attention. You don't need to force them or tell them what to do. I think that's really interesting. Yeah. And who, by the way, who's the author of that book?
David Dida.
Never heard of him.
Yeah, this dude is amazing. So, that's hello, cat.
Sorry.
I love cats. I mean, I was just petting mine here a minute ago. Exactly what you said. Absolutely. So being able to do those things, you're not doing anybody a favor if you're, like sacrificing anything. Like just the simple idea of sacrificing means that you would rather be doing something else, but you're sacrificing it for something else. And if somebody's sacrificing something for me, I would feel so bad. Like, don't sacrifice it. Just like, dude, do whatever you have. I would feel bad, like somebody's giving up something they really want to do for me. I mean, I appreciate it. It's nice. It's honorable, but you better go do what you need to do, Did I see it? The cat wants to jump on my computer.
Let the cat do it. Luis, I told you I'm not fancy. Get the cat on there. I'll show you my cat.
No.
Isn't he cute?
Yeah, totally.
He's a baby. I told you I'm not fancy. You know what I think we should do? What? I have a couple little questions for you, and I think Patrick did an awesome job of dropping some of your websites and
thank you, Mr. Patrick.
Cool stuff. Aw, yes, he's awesome. But I think we should do a couple more Pick Your Poison. I think you're a really interesting guy, Luis. I'm glad we became friends.
I am glad too. Thank you so much. You're awesome.
Yeah. You have an interesting perspective. It's so funny when you become a voluntarist and you kind of just give in and like fall off the cliff of anarchy. You meet so many interesting people. And I'm a big fan of just like diving into all kinds of anarchists and just, finding out their perspective, because I think they're some of the most they've let go of their cognitive dissonance, and they're some of the most intelligent people that I learned so much from. So I appreciate your perspective. And
Likewise.
also, I think as anarchists, like, we can disagree on certain things and still like not hate each other because, you know, we
I mean, that doesn't always happen,
we don't.
unfortunately, because you see all the infighting, which is kind of bullshit, and why some people don't take it seriously. You know, one of my heroes is John Mackey, and whenever he got interviewed as far as like why he sold Whole Foods to Amazon, he said, "Are you married?" To the guy that was interviewing. He's like, "Yeah." "Do you like everything your wife does?" "No." You know, I mean, like, that just kind of like, that was such a beautiful moment to me to hear, because it's like, you don't, I mean, even the person that you have the closest to you, you don't agree on everything with them, and you still love them, you know, like, so you're just having to.
I do, but I find that with my closest friends, and obviously I have some that aren't voluntarists that are very close to me, although they kind of lean that way. But I don't know, it's this weird common thread of like, it's not a political philosophy. It's the fact that I respect that you own yourself and I own myself, and I'm not going to hurt you or force you to do something against your will. I would rather learn about you and what you believe in. And it's made me grow so much as a person. I used to be so close-minded, and I still have my beliefs. I mean, I have very strong beliefs in my faith, but I've grown so much more even in my faith going outside of it, you know. Like, for instance, I just learned a little bit more about what a shaman was, and I don't think I'm any less for knowing it. I think I probably am a little bit more intelligent for knowing a little bit more about it. The same thing with my atheist or agnostic friends, you know. What's your point of view in life? How can I learn from that? And we all have this common thread of wanting to know what actual truth is and not wanting to force other people to believe what we believe. And I think that's one of the coolest parts of voluntarism that, like you said, is much better than us sitting and fighting semantics, because that's really stupid. And there's plenty of libertarians and voluntarists to sit around and fight about the dumbest shit ever. And it's not productive. It produces no fruit.
No, not at all. I think that, you know, every person is kind of like a page of a book. And if you say, oh, yeah, this is the truth, this is one page, and like, I mean, what the hell happened to the other couple hundred pages? Like, you don't know what the hell the book is all about. And the more that you talk to people and learn about it, you see it's like, you know, more understanding of how the world works. So if we just stay with our one page, you know, like, it's kind of like people that never leave their hometowns, and they're like, you got to speak English because you're in America. Like, do you know that, like, when I go to New York or when I go to LA, like, you hear like 7 languages going on at once from like 25 different cultures. And like, you know, any kind of big city has the cosmopolitan scent to it, which is, like, in my opinion, the apex of capitalism.
There is, oh gosh, I cannot think of who the quote was from. It's something about letting go of ignorance when you travel. Anyways, there was so much truth to it, because I grew up in I was a hard right-winger, and not that I didn't have some really cool blessings from my parents, they're musicians, and so I did learn a lot of really cool stuff, but they were so focused on, you know, oh, stay in the United States, and we'll just travel here, and we're not, and then a few years ago, I started traveling and meeting people from other cultures and going to other countries, and my mind was blown. Like, it opened up a whole new world. I never want to stop doing that. And it's not that I don't love where I live. I'm fortunate to live in the United States. I'm fortunate to not be a victim of their foreign policy. But I certainly don't think that we're what I used to think, you know, like we're some special place in the world and everybody else is wrong. It's like, oh my gosh, I love to see how other people live and understand that that's no better or worse than me. It's different, and it's amazing. I think as Americans, somebody being born here in the Midwest and just being your traditional, you know, average, hey, American girl growing up, I missed out on so much. Like, it's very strange. We have this very we're very tribal as like Americans, and like we don't want to branch out. We're scared of everything. I think the state probably does a lot of that to us. But you just learn so much studying other cultures, and maybe we do things better than them. Maybe they do things better than us. But where's the harm in learning? You know, why stay ignorant?
No, totally. And my mom, you know, like I grew up hearing her say, like, whenever you're little, I'm going to teach you things. But as you grow up, you're going to have to teach me things to be able to keep up with the world. And like, not everybody, like a lot of parents are really hierarchical.
That's awesome.
Like, I am the parent and you are the child forever, you know? And if we continue that trend, that means that now this is a parent and this is a kid. So like our IQs and our intellect is going to decline, because if you can never surpass a parent, then you're kind of fucked generationally going downward.
Mm-hmm.
It's that, like, what I like, you know, the value of what my parents taught me is like, you have to outdo me, you know? And then that's how like we get better. We get smarter, we get stronger, we get taller, we get wealthier. Like life is supposed to expand most times, you know? So that's
It's your kitty cat. It's funny that some of the best advice, I have two children, and that I did get, it was a pastor that was counseling me, and he said, "You're not raising children, you're raising adults." So, you know, basically in that same vein, you want them to grow and become adults. You don't want to keep them your children. That's not what you're raising. You're raising people to be in society. And I think it kind of goes to the same thing. And I do think we're going down a rabbit hole, but let's just go there, Luis. A culture in America tends to be very, there's this whole helicopter parent thing going on, and we're going to protect kids from everything, and we're never going to let them feel pain, and we're never going to let them, you know, be free to think or do what they want to do. They have to think along a certain way because that's the safest way to think. And I think the word safety is probably one of the creepiest words you could use. And we're doing them no favors. We're actually like cutting them off at the knees. And I think that's definitely a cultural problem in America. It's straight. And it's also another thing I learned from other cultures. That's not the way that most of the world raises their children.
Yeah, I see that. But at the same time, I think it's a response to all the fear that's happening. Like, you know, here in the States, the idea is like anywhere outside the United States is evil. They're going to behead you. They're going to rob you. They're going to kidnap you. And now here, like your neighbors, you know, you have to be afraid because, you know, like on Fox News, they're like, oh, the leftists are evil. Or like on, you know, MSNBC, all those freaking right wings are crazy nut jobs. And in reality, I have friends on both sides of the sphere, and I have friends that are even anarcho-communists, and I party with them. And you know, it's like most people, you're going to have a lot in common with them. And in fact, I want to say that most people want the same thing, which is to take care of their loved ones, you know, to be able to have a decent living, and to be able to send their kids to college, or to have their kids be okay, kind of thing. Everybody wants that. Like the main problem is, how do we get there? So that's where we vary, right? But most people are good people, and I want to say that I believe that humans are inherently good. So now the parents outside being afraid of their kids and all that, I think it's just we live in the most prosperous and most peaceful time in human history, and even with the one
and the safest for our children.
Yeah, absolutely. So, you know, a lot of those things are just propaganda. Now he's trying to bite me, little bastard. No,
no, let's see his face.
Okay, hold on. Maybe with a. Okay, he's not.
Aw, hi, buddy. Aren't you cute? Hi, buddy. Cats are anarchists, naturally.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a statist because he wants to be a troll.
Is he? And he wants his food for free every day?
Yeah, once a day. Give me wet food. Yeah.
I don't give my cat wet food because I'm not cleaning that litter box after that.
This guy goes outside.
Right. Oh, wait, do you have an indoor outdoor? You're probably going to burn in hell. I'm messing. I'm just messing. Okay, so what time do we have here? All right.
7:27.
Wow. We've had a good live. Yeah. Apparently it's 5:30. I don't know what that means. My clock is forever messed up. All right. So, Luis, we've linked some of the stuff you're doing, especially if people are interested in Kratom, because those were the most messages I got. Please go to Emancipated Human. It's linked in the comment section. But you say you live in the present. However, if you had a crystal ball and you could look into the future, where would you like to see yourself or your family, or even maybe like, the state of the liberty movement and things like that? Would you see for the future? I live in the
present, but that doesn't mean that I don't plan or that I don't think about memories, I mean, that's...
Okay, bucket list, big goal. What's your big goal?
Yeah, big goal is, I guess, just continue to expand the consulting firm, because I think it's bringing a lot of value. That's one thing, and to continue to, I guess, do a lot of my activism, speaking and doing all of those things, and to be able to, like, I would like for the liberty movement, like you mentioned, in general, to, like, for us not to fight about stuff that's we're not even going to see in our lifetime. That we can become a little bit more pragmatic and less, like, I think Puritanism is horrible in religion and in politics, like, you're not a libertarian, you're not an anarchist. Like, I mean, really, like, no.
I get that, and I get that through Christianity too. I don't know how much of my page you see, but I have so many people like calling me a heretic, and I'm like, hey, I'm just telling you what I believe. I'm not hurting you,
Yeah. So, I think it will be pretty awesome. So, especially because it's it's like such a novel idea. Like, everybody, I think, grows up with the ideology of libertarianism in their household. It's like, when you're little and you're going to go play outside, don't start any trouble. But if they hit you, hit them back. Everybody says that to their kids.
Yeah.
That's
no shit. Pretty much the non-aggressive principle, and living, owning yourself. Yep.
That's it.
You own no one else, but if they fuck with you, you can you can fight back. I said the F word. Like, I must be a heretic.
You're going to burn in hell with me too.
I'm going to burn in hell. I honestly believe, and now I'll probably get a lot of crap on the show notes or through my messenger, that
tell us.
As a believer in the philosophy of Jesus Christ, he is probably much less concerned with me saying fuck than me supporting a government that bombs children in the Middle East. I'm just throwing that out there. Sounds crazy, right?
Yeah, it's so silly. But, like, on the Bible, there's a part that it says that you have to believe your rulers and follow them, and all of that. So it's like, I don't think that.
I could get into that. Follow Godarchy if you're interested in why that's not what you think it is. Anyways.
Yeah. No, I mean, I feel you basically. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay, Luis, I'm going to give you 2 would you rathers, and then I'm going to do a shout out to our wonderful producers, who I think are actually friends of yours, this is cool. The guys from Disenthrall, which, by the way, if you don't follow Disenthrall, you're an idiot, because they have like really high quality content and you're getting it for free. And I'm a firm believer, and which is part of what I like about you, that if you're going to espouse liberty and talk about being a voluntarist, be like good at it and don't produce crap. And they actually don't. You could go to them with, any kind of wanting something to be produced with value, and they could do it for you. It just so happens that they're voluntarists, which is cool. So be the best version, a representation of voluntarism. So let's do a couple more would you rather. This is fun. All right.
Yeah,
all right, Luis, are you ready?
There are some people I really like
your loins. Gird your loins. Are you ready? Okay.
Ready.
This is like Alex Jones shit right here. Would you rather be absolutely convinced you're in the center of a conspiracy that isn't true, or spend every day on an airing. What the fuck? Okay, go ahead.
Wow, that was so funny. Gosh. That's a difficult one. What do you think? What would you think?
I'm gonna go with the conspiracy theory because I probably have a better time, and I'm all about fun.
You know, I was kind of considering the same thing for the same reason. I was like, we could be acting. It will be like a movie. It will be kind of fun. And Total Recall came to mind.
And who doesn't love Alex Jones? He's a national treasure. Like, if you can't appreciate watching Alex Jones, then you probably need to rethink your life. That's all I'm saying. All right, let's do another one of these, Luis.
All right.
Pick your poison. My Mexican anarchist friend. All right.
You called me an anarcho-beaner like 2 days ago.
Beaner's horrible stereotype. By the way, ironic racism is the only type of good racism. All right. I'm probably going to get bad messages from that or whatever.
It's okay. It was funny.
It is funny. I'll be an anarcho ginger, and that has nothing to do with anything that I have control over. So
yeah,
I'm pretty repressed.
Yeah. Shoot. Give me that.
Okay.
2 cards. Come on.
Are you ready, Luis? Would you rather get a tattoo of a 6-pack of beer on your abdomen, or find out you've been using someone else's toothbrush for the past year?
Whose toothbrush would it be? I guess
What's
that
done
depends.
Is done, baby. Take the toothbrush.
Yeah, I'll go with the toothbrush personally. Yeah, totally.
Okay, I want to do one. I'm going to do one more of these because it's like literally the last 2 I pulled up, and it's too funny. All right, Luis, would you rather have your cell phone only be able to charge up to 10%, or never wait, or never hit puberty?
10% definitely, of course.
All right, that's awesome. Well, I think we're going to wrap up this show, this very highly professional show. By the way, I had a really good time. I feel like I could just talk to you. I think people like that. They like conversation. So
it's fun.
I'm going to say go back to the comment section. You can follow Luis on Facebook, just his personal profile. I believe you have a public profile. And then Emancipated Human, that will link to some Kratom stuff, which is a lot of the questions I got. And then also, big shout out to my guys from Disenthrall. That's going to be in the comments. You can get really awesome voluntarist stuff from them that's produced really well. And you can follow me, which you probably already are. If not, if you got tagged in my life, follow me. And then all my other social medias on there are gingershenanigans.com. Anywho, Luis, it's been a wonderful evening. Thank you for entertaining my bullshit.
I love it. Thank you so much. It was so much fun.
Okay. All right. I'm going to say and fuck the state.